Hi everyone, it's time to do Mixed Media Morsels dessert number 6, and I thought it would be fun to show you how I make my foam stamps. A couple of you had asked me after I posted the video where I created this page, and some of you had asked me about the leaves, and that's just a simple, real simple, inexpensive homemade stamp. And I thought that would be really fun to do today, and I'll show you what I do. I take this fun foam sheets, and they have adhesive on them on the back already. So all you do is cut what you need, and you peel the backing off and stick it to whatever you're going to use as your stamp base. And I'll show you what I'm talking about. This is the stamp that I used on this page. Okay, there it is. And all I did is took a piece of the fun foam, and you can get the stuff that doesn't have the adhesive on the back already. This just makes it a lot easier to manipulate. This is a little bit thicker foam than the ones that don't have adhesive, and I like the fact that it's a little bit thicker, and the being able to just peel off the back is a real big help. But you just take a piece of that and you draw on it with an ink pen. And sometimes there's an issue with the ink. In the beginning, the ink might come off onto whatever you're stamping. Of course, in mixed media art, that doesn't really matter a lot because we like having all those multiple colors and shades and stuff in there. So, but after you start using it for a while, you don't get ink marks in what's supposed to be left white. You won't get anything like that left in there after a while. So you can use an ink pen, or you can use a stylus if you have a stylus tool. It has the little ball on the end, and you're just going to basically draw or sketch, you know, whatever it is that you want to make your stamp to be. So all I do is, I'm going to try it with the stylus. Usually I use the pen. I'm going to try it with the stylus alone this time and just see how it comes out. But all you're doing is, and I'm doing it lightly at first, and I'm just going to make a little circle. Of course, it's not going to be perfect. It's going to be imperfect, which is perfect, which is perfect for mixed media art. So you can see now I'm starting to press down a little bit harder into the fun foam, and it makes an indentation in the foam, and that's what causes the ink not to stamp when you go to use it as a stamp. It's the fact that there's a little indentation here, so there's nothing there to get ink on it. So I'm just going to go ahead and go around this, and I'm going to do something really simple in the middle. I'm just going to make some little lines, just some fun stuff. Let's see, we'll make a couple more going in all different directions here. Okay, that looks fun. So you just want to make sure everything is pushed down really well. Actually, I think I could make one more in here. There we go. Just make sure it's all pushed in. And every now and then, you know, after you've used these for a while, you have to go back and kind of press the design back into it again, but that's not a big deal. And it's really inexpensive. It's not a lot of money involved in this, because if you get a pack of those sheets, it's going to last you forever. You can make a gazillion stamps with one pack of that stuff. So, all right, so we've just got a little circle with the little lines inside, and I'm just going to cut it out. Okay, I'm actually going to cut just a little bit inside that line, I think, because I think I want a smaller size circle. There we go. All right. Now there's several things you can use as your base. I've started out using corrugated cardboard, and if you can find some that's really extremely heavy duty, that's probably fine to use. What I used was not very sturdy, and so as I used the stamp a little bit, it started to flatten out, and it's pretty much flat now. I'll show you that stamp. It still stamps and it still works fine, but it is pretty flat, so you can choose other things that give it more stability. Here's the one I'm talking about. This one I had done on cardboard, so you can see this really flattened out right here. That used to be a pretty good, you know, thick piece. It was a double layer of corrugate there, so cardboard is probably not the best thing because you do press on a stamp a lot. So my second option now is to use the foam core board, okay, which is what's on this one. This stuff is pretty inexpensive. It's called white foam core board, and it's very sturdy, and you can press on it and it will not, well, it will flatten out if you pressed way too hard, but in general it doesn't flatten out, not like the cardboard does. So I take the stamp, I've got a little square over here already cut. I take the stamp I've created and I peel it and stick it on the foam core. Now what I did last time when I did this one, I cut a double layer of the green foam because I thought that would give it a little bit more cushion. So I'm going to do the same thing again. Cut a little piece over here so that I can put that on there. So I'm going to do the same thing again. I'm going to peel it off and stick it to another piece of the foam. And then I'm going to just trim around that. And it just makes it, you know, a double layer high. So you'll have a nice cushiony stamp when you're done. And you don't have to do this step if you don't want to. I just kind of like having the extra cushion in there. It really is not necessary. Okay, so then you've got a nice thick piece. You can see how much thicker that is now. All right, so then I'm going to peel that and stick it onto the foam core like this. Oh wait, before I stick it down, let me show you how I make the little handle. I take a piece of, well, see, in this case you can see I took painter's tape and used painter's tape, but I typically use the packing tape, and any wide sturdy tape that holds pretty well is going to be all you need. Okay, and you just tear yourself a good little piece there, and all I do is stick it to, this is going on the back side of the stamp block, so I stick it to the edge here like that, right, and then I fold the other one. I've carefully folded over so that this tape is not sticking to itself yet. Kind of keep my finger in there to keep it from doing that. All right, and then I attach that piece to the other side. Okay, now you've got like a loop. Okay, and then all I do is gently kind of work it towards the center, and once they meet up in the center, I just push them together, make a little handle, okay, and press the tape down really good on your foam core board. All right, so now you have a handle for stamping, okay, and that's real handy when you don't want to hold the smaller piece and get your fingertips in your ink, okay. So that comes in really, really handy. All right, now we can stick the stamp on this side. Okay, and I'm going to press it down. All right. Okay, so you've got a handmade stamp. All right, I'm just going to press this one more time since I was kind of pressing down flat so that I have a little bit of, make sure my indentions are in there still. Probably use this smaller side too, just to make sure that they're good and deep. You want to be gentle, just do it gently at first, and then you can get a feel for pressing down, and so you don't tear into the foam. Okay. All right, so we got a cute little stamp. All right, and I just want to take it and show you how it's going to work. I've got another book. I've shown this in a couple of videos that I've been throwing, you know, excess paint and stuff into, right? So I thought I would maybe try out my stamps in here. Let's see. Let's see, what color do we want? Let's try the orange. I love these archival inks, Ranger archival inks, because they're permanent, like the stays on, and you can get them in a lot of cool colors, and they just look so nice. It's so nice sometimes to have things to stamp that aren't just black, you know, or brown. And you know me and how much I like color, so I'm going to really enjoy it. The foam holds a lot of ink, and so you'll get several stamps out of one inking of the stamps. So here, let's give it a try and see what it's going to do. Okay, I'm pressing. Oh, that looks so cool. Look how fun. And it's so simple. So I love that. I'm going to get a couple more stamps out of this one. Okay, and then we'll get one more. It'll be light, but I'm going to put one more right here. And I'll press it real good and just try to use up as much of the ink as possible. So that is amazing. I really like that. That is just fun and so easy, and it's really not very expensive, which I like a lot. So I'm sure a lot of you can appreciate that too, because if we can do something for less money, that's the way to go always, you know. So I really like that. All right, I'm going to let that dry for a minute, and then I want to show you. Let's see what else. Oh, I wanted to show you that I took some burlap and put it on a leaf shape that I had cut from the foam and made a burlap stamp, which I think is really cool too. Let's see if we can find a place to stamp that. Here's an area that's kind of light. Let's see. We'll do that, and we'll take, let's do the green. And this one is not as, it's not going to be as heavy as the other stamp, because you see how the ink goes onto the solid surface of this kind of stamp. And this time the ink is going to go on the lined surface. Okay, because that's the raised part. All right, so let's put a leaf right here with the burlap. See, this one's not quite as obvious. It's there, but that's probably going to be best used in a space that is pretty solid, like blank, that you don't have a lot of color on, you know. Let's see if there's any of these spaces left in any of these that are lighter, not as busy. This one's got a little bit of stuff going on here. I'll do another one here. Okay. Let's try that again. And plus, when you outline the one with the burlap, you can outline it, and then it's a lot more obvious. Okay, so you can see that one a little bit better. So I can get in a place where there's not a shadow. There we go. All right, so that's fine. And that's using burlap along with the foam to give it a little cushion. All right, then you can also wrap some rubber bands around a piece of foam core and stamp with a rubber band. This is one that I had tried something else on, and the glue I used didn't stick, so I just wrapped some rubber bands around it and thought I would do that just to make lines. Okay, let's try some purple. We'll do that on the same page here. And I can actually hold this by the rubber band on the back to use as the handle. It's hard to put a handle on one that you've got rubber bands on the back side of. So I'll just grab hold of the rubber band when it's time to lift it. All right, let's do that one here. See, that's so fun. And now these particular rubber bands are different heights, so that caused a little bit of a problem. I don't get as good of an impression, but if all of your rubber bands are the same thickness, you'll get a much better impression. But I like this just fine. I don't have a problem with this at all. So let's put another one here. There we go. So that's another fun way to make a stamp. All right, the next thing I wanted to show you is that you can use these little O-rings. I saw Carla over at Caged Fish using some O-rings or some gaskets or washers to make some stamps, and I thought I'd give that a try. These are just little rubber rings, and I just glue them onto the foam core board just like I glued or adhered the foam. So what I'm going to do is, well, first I'll show you what I've created already. I did a couple of these on the foam core board. These are some of the bigger size circles, and I just cut them in half and made a little scallop border stamp. And then this one was a couple of different sizes of the little smaller rings. Now when you're using these, you have to use the same thickness of rings on each stamp you're making. For instance, if I use these smaller rings, they're much thinner. They're not raised as high. I couldn't use those with the bigger rings because these are much thicker. And so all that's going to stamp is the thing that's the highest. Let's just stamp this scallop one up. Okay, maybe we'll put this over here on this side of this page. I'm just going to put it right along the edge and press down, and so I have like a little border. Isn't that cute? So then you can color it in, you can doodle inside of it, you can do, you know, whatever you want to do. So while I have it in my hand, I'm going to go ahead and put another one or two maybe on the page. Let's see. Maybe I'll put, let me put one up here on this edge. Whoops. And there we go. That looks really cool. I think I will wipe it off a little bit and then just ink up a portion of it. Maybe three of the little scallops maybe, and do a set of 3 there. So I'm just going to stamp it on the ones that I'm interested in using. Okay, so I'm just going to do 3, and I'm going to put those right here. So there you go. Here's what the small one looks like, and then I'm going to show you how I made this. Let's put it here. Isn't that fun? Love it. See, we'll do that again here, and we'll go over to the side a little bit. I love that. I'm going to make a little swipe of them going down the page. I'm going to turn this one this way this time. Here we go. I mean, that's just really fun. It makes a really cool stamp. So here's how we made it. Use up some of this ink on here. All right, let that dry. Okay, so I took out several of the same size rings, and I'm going to just put together a little pattern. I thought this would be a fun little pattern to make. Use the circles to make a triangle. All right, and then I'm going to take my block. I've already got my handle attached already. And I tried attaching these rings with the Fabrifix. I tried this one. I tried this one, the tacky glue. And these did not hold well for me. Somebody else might have better luck with that, but I did not. have good luck with those two glues. But I did have good luck with the E6000 because you know that E6000 works for everything. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put some out onto the foam core board. And I want to get a pretty generous amount. It doesn't have to, I mean, you don't have to go overboard, but you don't want it to be super thin either, because you want those circles to really grab hold and stick into that glue. All right. Oh, wow, this stuff's smelly. All right, so get that closed up. Then I just took a credit card or old gift card, and I just kind of spread it, not digging it down thin, but just leveling it out somewhat. All right, and once I got it pretty much leveled out, okay, I turned it over and pushed it down onto, I think I'm going to go this way. Got a better coverage, I think. I just pressed it down onto the foam core board just like that. Don't move it around yet, just kind of press it in. Hold it for a second. Okay, and then when you lift it up, your circle should be attached. And there you go. And I just leave it to dry. And this takes a couple hours to dry. Now I'm seeing that there's a little area over here that didn't get much glue. So while it's wet, take some of that I scraped, and I'm just going to slide it underneath that ring, just to give it a little bit of extra hold there. Okay. All right. And if you've had to make any little adjustments like that, then just turn it back down and press it so that they're all going to be glued and raised at the same height. Okay, just make sure you do that for your last step to make sure that they're all down the same way together. So when that dries, it's going to be a fun little stamp to use, and I can't wait to see how it looks because I really love this little pattern. So there you go, guys. Couple of fun, easy ways to make some stamps. This is one that I had made previously on the foam. I'll show you what it looks like. Which one of our pages needs a pink leaf? Oh, we could do it here. Okay, let's do it here. Love it. Isn't that fun? I just love making these because they're so easy. So there you go. I mean, just fun stuff. All right, and I had another idea too. I'm not going to take the time to make it today, but I do want to share the idea. And that is, if you find some children's building blocks, you know, at a yard sale or at your thrift store, you can do the same thing with a wood block and use that for your base. Just like I use the foam core here, you can use a wood block for your base, just like a regular wood block stamp. You can put a piece of the cushioning fun foam under it like I did here. Put the foam under there for the cushion, and then I've glued the burlap on top. And it may work without even putting a cushion. I haven't tried it yet, but I did want to mention it. But you know, to be able to put something like a piece of burlap, like I could trim that down a little bit and put a piece of burlap on one side, and you put a piece of foam with a pattern on another side, and then you've got a little block with a lot of different patterns. Excuse me. You can use a piece of the what's that stuff called? Shelf liner. You know, they have little patterns on them, so you could glue little bits of different things. And sometimes this right here might make a good stamp. Let's see. Let's try it. I haven't done this yet, so we'll see. I don't know if this is going to work. I have not tried this yet. So, and I think because it is so flat, I'm going to put this little foamy mouse pad underneath here just to give it some cushion. All right, so here we go. Let's see how it looks. Well, it did not print very well. Of course, now that could be just because I'm not over the top of it, but This may not work as well. I'll practice a little bit with that, and we'll see if it comes out doing better later, or if I figure out a way to make it work better, I'll let you know. But it didn't really do a whole lot. I mean, there's barely anything there. So anyway, it was just an idea, but you definitely can use the surfaces of these to attach other things to stamp with. And you know, you can buy those foam shapes already cut into shapes and things. So you could put those foam shapes onto your blocks or your foam core boards and make cool stamps. I wanted to do this one more too, and I forgot. This is just some teeny little circles I cut out of some scraps so that I didn't waste the foam. I wanted to use them, and look what the leftovers look like. I might put that onto something too, and make a little oddball looking stamp out of that too. But in fact, I won't go ahead and attach this right now because the video is getting kind of long, but that's a good way to keep from wasting. Don't waste the little pieces that you trim around, like this and like this. You know, you can use these spaces. You can cut strips, make little strips, and attach the little strips to make lines. So just use up all your scraps too, and you'll have fun little patterns like this, and then you'll have fun little circles or triangles or lines, whatever you decide to cut out of the foam. So have fun making some stamps. I could sit here and do this all day, but I don't want the video to get extremely long. But have a great day, and we'll see you again soon. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.